So, welcome into episode 9 of the Sin the House podcast. Me and Jackson,
holding down the fort.
Yeah, we got the full crew here though. Jack and EA behind the camera. So, we're looking to get back into it here. Episode 9 of the podcast, and we're back. So,
We're back!
Let's get into topic 1 of the day. The NBA playoffs have been going on. We're into the conference finals now. And a lot's been happening.
Yeah, the Pacers are cooking, and the Thunder are
also
playing as expected.
Pacers. We posted a vid about them about a week ago and all that they've been doing. But they've been balling, up 3-1 now over the Knicks, looking like they're going to punch a ticket to the NBA Finals. And
hopefully, honestly, I don't want to see the Knicks win.
No, I don't either. And then on the Thunder, I was skeptical about about the Thunder coming into the playoffs, and they beat Memphis in 5, I think. Beat who they played last round, Denver in 7. That was a tough series.
That was a close series.
I thought Denver was going to win Game 7. It would have been a tight series, and then OKC kind of destroyed them in Game 7, and now they're up 3-1 on the Wolves, playing right now as well.
I mean, Ant's trying his best, but
if Julius Randle, I swear he'll either give you like 30 or like 4. It doesn't change.
It's like Tyrese Haliburton in the regular season before.
Yeah. Tyrese Haliburton though with a triple double yesterday, to get the win in Indiana. Send it back to Madison Square Garden.
Hey, that one Pacers fan that they got trash thrown at them, and the Game 4. That guy's happy now.
Yeah.
Did y'all see Pat McAfee's?
Yeah, I did. I did see that. But any teams in the playoffs that you think kind of went home too early or anything like that?
You got to be disappointed in the Celtics and the Cavs.
Yeah, I agree. The Celtics Tatum injury, obviously that's another thing, but
their roster's deep enough to where they should still be able to fight it out. They have Jalen. Think about it. They have Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Kristaps,
Derek White,
Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
Sam Hauser. I don't care. Yeah.
Luke Cornett, dog.
Just a bunch of dogs on that team, and they still can't beat the Indiana Pacers.
No, the Knicks.
The Knicks.
Yeah.
That was hell. I'm just kidding.
But the thing was, like, Tatum got hurt in like the fourth quarter in a game they weren't gonna win. That they were gonna, when they lost that game, they were gonna go down 3-1. So he played in 4 games, and they went 1-3 in those games. So yeah, and the Cavs, I kind of was calling their bluff, honestly. Them and the Thunder, although Thunder I was wrong on. But Cavs, I just didn't see it. I love Donovan Mitchell, obviously, former Jazz player. But I just didn't see how they were going to find... they kind of dealt with some injuries early in that Pacers series, but... And then I think, when you're looking at the Lakers, that's got to be disappointing as well. Getting beat in 5 games to the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are a good squad. They're obviously in the conference finals now, but you have LeBron and Luka on the same team in a series, and you can't find a way to win 2 games. It's kind of tough. I think.
If they got beaten 7 or 6,
yeah,
it would have been like, okay, they're just figuring things out. But
right,
it's just
I think
losing 5 is just disappointing.
Luka,
for them.
Since being on the Lakers, I saw something like he dropped 5 points per game this season from a season ago. LeBron's just getting older. Like the Lakers, man, they gotta do something quick. They don't have a center. They almost had Mark Williams.
DFS? The center?
They almost had Mark Williams, which I think would have been big, and I think would have been a whole different outcome. But no, that trade gets, it somehow gets reversed. I don't even know how that happens, but it gets like taken back on, and they don't have a center.
He failed the physical.
Actually,
yeah, that's what
something
it was.
Weird with the physical or something. He had to go extra with.
That's crazy. But they don't have a center. They could look to be like I mean, I'm sure they're going to be buyers in the center market for maybe a Nick Claxton or somebody like that. But they don't have a center, and I mean, like, Rui's good. Like, they have good wings, but they don't have a whole lot of like depth. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of tough to see here. But just kind of predictions here. Who you think? Who you got?
What for finals?
Yeah, who you got here?
I mean, I don't think any of the conference finals teams make a comeback, and it'll just be Thunder Pacers.
Yeah.
In the finals, I think the Knicks got a much better chance to make a comeback than the
Wolves. I agree. But I mean, what's the
champion?
No, what's the Karl Anthony Towns? I saw he kind of had that play where he looked to be hurt. Is he banged up? Is he clear? What's the
What's the word?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, we have two people behind the camera that could be looking this up right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's good to go. I think he came back into the game, but I don't know if he's going to be fully healthy or not.
Just as questionable.
Questionable. Okay, yeah. Means he'll play, but he's probably banged up. That would be my guess. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be Thunder Pacers, and in that situation, I've been loving this Pacers run. I think it's been really cool to see what they've done and where they've gotten. But I think OKC wins that series in 6 probably. So that would be my pick right now.
OKC could just win tonight, and the series would be over.
Yeah.
OKC's
26-9 at the end of the first.
Dang.
Okay. Might just be over tonight.
Yeah. So who you got? OKC, Indiana, hypothetical finals.
I think just OKC.
Yeah.
I don't overthink it, I guess.
Jack, who you got?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the right
I would
answer.
love to see Tyrese Halliburton.
And then
I hope the Pacers win.
And then in that kind of same question here to wrap up the segment, if the Oklahoma City Thunder win the NBA playoffs, become the NBA champions, I think that means like they could win it. Like they're gonna be in contention for like 10 years, or maybe not 10 years, but you know what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
But another
they'll be
thing
in contention for a while.
Yeah. So like they could be on the verge of like an insane dynasty, but 2, like where do you think just like this 2024-2025 Oklahoma City Thunder, like they got to be amongst one of the better teams.
Yeah, for sure.
68 wins in the regular season.
If they win the finals, is it crazy to say that they're a top 5 team of all time?
Top 5 team of all time. That's
like just based off record.
I mean,
just winning.
I don't know. I think that they would be top 10 probably.
Top
5.
Top 10 is solidified.
Because I think if you're just gonna solo out, like I think I'm taking all 3 of the 96, 97, and 98 Bulls. I think I'm taking over them. I think I'm taking the 2 years with KD on the Warriors. So that's 5 teams.
That's 5
right
teams.
Yeah, and then that's not even mentioning someone like the Spurs teams, like that 2014 Spurs team. I would probably, with Tim Duncan, Kawhi, I don't know. I would probably put them over OKC. Like, the thing with OKC is, like, I don't even understand how they're so good. Like, how did they win 68
They're just
games?
so good, but it's just not... It's not like they jump out at... They just have depth.
Yeah.
And then they have upcoming stars.
Like,
they're really young. But usually with young teams, I mean, you don't see them succeed like this.
Like, I know they have the MVP, but it's like... I think everybody in this room would agree. If you are building a team for next season and you have the first overall pick in a hypothetical fantasy draft, I'm taking Nikola Jokic. Okay. I mean,
wait, what is? Are we
like for next? If you were to, just next season, if you want to make the best possible team, you have the first pick out of any NBA player. Yeah, Jokic.
I mean, he's the best player in the NBA.
Right.
I mean, there's no reason he
So
shouldn't be next year.
I mean, Shea's the MVP, but I would think Jokic. I think most people think that Jokic is the best player.
Jokic is easily the best player.
But I know they have the MVP, but it's like they just have a perfect supporting cast with like
J-Dub.
J-Dub is a great that's the big 3. But then like even once you start including guys like Caruso and
Lou Dort
and
Isaiah Joe,
Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Hartenstein, like they just got like a perfect.
They got depth.
Yeah. And I think 68 wins, they'd have to go down as one of the better teams of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, that's going to wrap it up for the NBA playoffs. There's some of our picks, what we think's, possibly going to happen here as we come down the stretch. But moving into the next segment here, fantasy football. Many people think that it's just something you do in the fall. No, it's a year-round.
It's a year-round thing.
It's a year-round thing here. So, first look at fantasy here. I mean, you want to kick us off?
Are we doing redraft or dynasty?
We can start with redraft first.
We just for our dynasty league, we just got things. I'm last. He's first.
Yeah.
They're somewhere in the middle.
I am second and
I'm
fifth.
Yeah.
And when are we gonna draft?
I don't know.
We have hammer out date. Well, it's gonna be soon.
Right. But so we're starting a dynasty league. Got the startup draft soon, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But let's kick it off here with redraft. Anything.
Just about like top guys.
Anything.
E-League guys.
Sure. Anything.
Well,
What's the player?
from the top, Jamar Chase. I think he's easy 101 for pretty much everybody.
This is a redraft.
Yeah. I wanted him last year, based off of the kind of volume the Bengals put in their passing offense, having an elite quarterback in Joe Burrow, and him just being one of, if not the best wide receiver in the league, definitely top 2 there with Justin Jefferson, and just stable. We know they're going to pass the football. They invested all of their money into these 3 guys to just be a passing offense and pretty much nothing else as a football team. I mean, there's no reason. He hasn't had any major injury concerns. There's no reason he shouldn't be the 101 in my eyes. And I haven't seen anybody put anything else up there. I mean, maybe Bijan Robinson. I've seen some people. Every year it seems like there's some people who are very bullish about Bijan's value and what he can do. But, I mean, I'm not there with him.
Yeah. I mean, I think Chase is the right choice at 101. And at 102, I mean, you can go a couple different ways here. I mean, what are you thinking here?
I think it's going to be a running back, and I still haven't. I think it's either Bijan or Gibbs, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
No, Saquon.
I was going to
go. Saquon.
I was going to say Saquon.
Every day, I have a different opinion as I look into things about him. I'm becoming bigger on Bijan recently.
Really?
Probably, if I was picking right now, if I wanted to, and Chase was gone, I'd probably say Bijan. Maybe Saquon is at second running back, third overall. I don't know, where does Justin Jefferson fit in there? I'd probably say, if I'm ranking the running backs right now, I'd probably say Bijan, Saquon, Gibbs. But those are the clear top 3, and it's close for me. And I mean, hopefully, this is redraft. We're not going to redraft until August. So I've been looking more at Dynasty. But
I mean, Breece Hall, he could be back in the runnings next year.
Yeah.
After a disappointing year this year, but I mean,
I think kind of what EA
I
was
would know
saying.
best about that.
Sorry, Breece Hall just a terrible season. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think what EA was kind of saying here, at least what I got out of that was, I think that there's kind of a top 5 when you're looking at it, and that's Chase, Saquon, Gibbs, Bijan, and Justin Jefferson.
That's fair.
I think those are just the most talented, most skilled, I think those are the guys that have the highest upside while having like the highest floor. So
yeah, I'd say I don't know about that actually. I think highest upside. I think some of these other guys, these younger guys like Brian Thomas Jr. I just think
But don't you think? I know.
People are gonna bring up. Are you gonna say Travis Hunter?
Yeah, I uploaded the first impressions video. I don't know, like 5 days ago, and I talked about Travis Hunter.
The Austin podcast.
Yeah, possibly playing wide receiver, and I said I said in that video that I think that moves Brian Thomas Jr. to a second round pick.
Well, with Brian Thomas Jr. Let's just I'll get to Travis Hunter in a minute. First of all, Liam Cohen come in as a head coach who was the Bucs offensive coordinator last year, and look at what happened there. Specifically, Chris Godwin, which is very Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is a little bit young, definitely younger, but more athletic. But moved Chris Godwin, who's a traditional slot wide receiver, was on the Buccaneers, to all around the field. And when Chris Godwin was healthy, it was the best Chris Godwin has ever been in his career, with Baker Mayfield, the quarterback, who he also revolutionized, which gives me faith in Trevor Lawrence next season, whose upside is there, in my opinion. And you have Gabe Davis is gone, Christian Kirk is gone. Those are that's easily over 100 targets last year that's been vacated. And Travis Hunter, my thing with Travis Hunter is I don't think, at least year one, he's going to be an incredible wide receiver. I don't think he's going to be a guy that they're going to want to get the ball over Brian Thomas Jr. at all. If he plays on offense, I think he's honestly just a guy who's going to make Brian Thomas Jr. better by attracting defensive attention. And
do you not think that works the other way?
I do think, but I don't think he's the kind of playmaker on offense that people think he's going to be. I wasn't super high on Brian Thomas Jr., but you look at what he did. I mean, if you put them side by side, they're not the same receiver. Brian Thomas Jr. is in a different league, and Travis Hunter can be taught. He has so much athleticism. He can be taught how to play wide receiver. But at this point, I don't think he's a guy that's nearly as versatile as Brian Thomas Jr. You can play him anywhere on the field. Same thing with Travis Hunter, but not at the same level. And they could just be a lot better offense this year with Liam Cohen. I think they will be. I'm not saying Brian Thomas Jr. is above any of these guys. I'm saying the ceiling, I think Brian Thomas Jr. has like wide receiver 1 ceiling, and maybe 1-on-1 ceiling. I think there's a chance that the offense blows up and he's the reason. And they haven't gotten any major playmakers at running back, no major playmakers at tight end. Travis Hunter, I've already talked about that. I just think it's...
Didn't Evan Ingram leave too?
Yeah, Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
And so that's and that was
back at the Giants.
Yeah.
Why did I not up to date?
So, the case for Brian Thomas Jr. I think is the ceiling. I think the floor is also. I mean.
So where would you have him? First, like late first round?
I don't know. Within wide receivers, it's tough because if I'm drafting on ceiling, I think he probably goes 2, honestly. But
above Justin
Jefferson. That's on. I think Justin Jefferson's elite because of the floor. Like we talked about, coming back from an ACL, he still has 1,000 yards with who was the quarterback? Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
Come on. And last year with Sam Darnold, who's a Pro Bowler, that has to do a lot with the coaching staff there, Kevin O'Connell. But I think he has such an elite floor because, in my opinion, he's the best receiver in the league. Ceiling though, true ceiling. He's in a very crowded receiving room with all those weapons, and who knows what J.J. McCarthy could do in his rookie year. There's obviously going to be growing pains, more so I think than Trevor Lawrence. Ceiling, I'm not saying Justin Jefferson's lower than Brian Thomas Jr., but on ceiling, the ceiling, Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay. Okay. Any you got any breakout players or? I mean, I'll start with the guy that I think is getting drafted way too low, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. I just don't understand it, quite frankly. I don't understand how he goes from a 1-2 turn, and now he's like a 4-5 turn. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't think it makes sense. The guy's only gonna get better. I know he didn't play well, but he was the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft. Above Neighbors, above Thomas Jr. I mean, he was electric at Ohio State. I just don't. I think he's gonna break out this season. I think for 4th round, 5th round, whatever. I think it's a steal.
He had 0 design plays in 2024. No plays were designed to go to Marvin Harrison Jr. He was really just used as your everyday wide receiver. Just get open, and they've said in Arizona over and over this offseason that he's going to be more involved. I believe him. I think he's worth 4 or 5 turn. I've been high on Marvin Harrison Jr. for a long time. He's also really good.
Yeah.
I think the biggest downside, obviously, first of all, Arizona's a very rush heavy offense. They run the ball. I think they've been top 10 in the last 3 years. I think all year. And they have Trey Benson, but Kyler Murray just isn't good at throwing the ball downfield. He's just not. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is a deep threat. At the least, he's an intermediate threat. He's a guy who gets open downfield. Kyler Murray loves throwing the ball underneath Trey McBride. I just talked about that in the video. He could be better, and it's a lot better if you're throwing to a better receiver who gets open. But in his whole career, Kyler Murray's never been good at throwing the ball downfield. I think it limits Marvin Harrison Jr., but I still think he's worth a 4 or 5. Yeah, I think he's slept on. When I said Trey Benson, I'm saying they're going to try to work the run game more with a young running back.
I got you. What about some of these guys, some of these rookies in redraft, and Ashton Jeanty, who's got 2nd round ADP? I can see it because there's a world where Ashton Jeanty's a top 3 running back or top top 4 for sure in redraft. But like, there's also I mean, I don't want to say this, but like, what if he's Zamir White? Like,
He's not Zamir White.
Okay, let me ask you something. Would you right now redraft Ashton Jeanty or Derrick Henry?
It's close.
It's close. I mean, they're right there for me. That's why.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Jack's face in the back is just.
Here's my. I think.
I think, in my opinion, is still Derrick Henry. Since he's only a rookie, and the Raiders' offense is the Raiders' offense, even with Geno. But
the kind of prospect Jeanty really was, you got to think they're gonna.
Plus, like, you just got to think Jeanty's just gonna get so much carries.
Yeah.
Like,
and the receiving, like Derrick Henry has no receiving.
Right, because they have Justice Hill right behind them.
But he could, Ashton Jeanty could, especially short yardage situations.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably lean Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying by the day I might be more Jeanty.
Yeah, it's Derrick Henry, but it's close.
Right.
Did you see where they made him change his stance?
Yeah, I did see that.
Let him stand up. Let him stand up.
What about a guy that I can't figure out right now is McMillan. I mean, I'm just.
Where's he going?
I have no idea.
I don't even know.
But I'm lost on him because like he's wide receiver 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 1.
So just off that alone, like I think it's got to be pretty valuable in redraft. I think that's going to help him a lot in redraft, like more than dynasty wise. It's because he's going to get a ton of volume just right off the bat. For some of these guys, it's going to like for dynasty purposes, it might take a couple years. But I think McMillan, I think he just is immediately a wide receiver 1.
If Bryce Young can keep the hot streak too, I mean, Bryce was good at the end of last year.
He was good at the end of last year.
Top 5 QBR in the second half of the year. Yeah, he was. I don't know honestly. It's weird because I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. You think I know? You know, the guy in the Carolina offense. I haven't really done the Carolina. I mean, Chuba Hubbard is, he's obviously going to be back next year. Rico Dowdle, who knows? I haven't even thought about that either. But I don't think it'll be
worst running back in the NFL, I thought.
I know, but whether they're going to feed him or not. But big one to me is, do y'all know who Jalen Coker is?
Yeah.
Okay. He, not versus T-Mac, but versus Xavier Legette. They were both rookies last year, except Coker was undrafted. He was definitely way more efficient. He was more productive. And he's really good. I didn't know about him, but he's on the field. He's really good. And Adam Thielen is fading out. He's like 34 years old now. He really fits.
Is Mingo still on the team?
No, he's on the Cowboys.
Right.
Yeah.
For those picks.
No,
Best player in the NFL.
Best player in the NFL. But I think he could really fill the Adam Thielen role. I don't think Jalen Cooker's getting drafted anywhere. But as maybe a late round pick or a waiver round pickup after the draft, I think he could be actually pretty good and more solid because he was very solid from week to week. He gets open, honestly. And Xavier Legette drops the ball. I think that's interesting. Not even dynasty, just redraft, maybe dynasty too. But Jalen Cooker versus Xavier Legette, I think it's a lot closer than people think.
All right. Last thing here. I mean, unless y'all got something to add here. I think Darnell Mooney is gonna turn some heads here. I just like the situation for him. I thought he was actually really, really good. Nobody was really talking about him last year. But I mean, he was putting up good numbers. I'm high on Michael Penix Jr. I think he just elevates the entire offense, honestly. So I mean, I think Drake London improves a little bit. But I mean, Darnell Mooney, I think he'll be one of the better wide receiver 2s next season in terms of fantasy. But anything y'all wanna add until we get to dynasty here?
I mean, obviously Mooney will be good next year.
Yeah. It's a very pass-heavy offense. I mean, it's the same thing as last year. He was great last year, and he's consistent. That's not.
And I saw somewhere he was going in like wide receiver 40 or 50 or something like that.
That's where he was last year.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He was one of those guys who was like kept seeing on the deep sleeper last year, and then he was great. So
right.
He was like an 11th round pick.
He'll just be a good flex or a good first guy off the bench. You fill him in for your bye week guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody gets hurt, right?
Yeah.
All right, we can move into Dynasty here.
I have one question.
What?
In redraft, where do y'all have CD and George Pickens go?
Okay, CD. I can't answer George Pickens because it's pretty far down the board. But for CD Lamb, let's think. For wide receiver, I'm not going to go all the way down the board. Okay. I think. Here's what I'll tell you. He's behind Puka for me.
Yeah, I would say wide receiver 4.
He's behind. Well, wait, who am I missing?
CD is wide receiver 4?
Yeah, behind Puka, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. Probably, unless I'm forgetting
Puka,
somebody.
Justin Jefferson. Well, you don't have
How about
Juan
Brian
Raw. No. Brian Thomas Jr., Nico Collins.
I would probably put CeeDee Lamb
Over Amon Ra?
over
Haven't-
Amon Ra.
Oh.
I would too.
Yeah.
Here's okay.
No,
They're
Brian
four.
Thomas Jr.
They're
is
4 and
really
5
good.
for
Oh,
me.
I got Amon Ra there.
No,
They're
I
4
got
and 5
Amon Ra
for
too.
I
Just
have
barely.
Malik down the board. AJ Brown way down the board. I'm trying to think of other guys. I have Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I'll say Brian Thomas Jr. over him.
Okay.
So
Wide
I'm just
receiver
counting them up, and then Puka.
5.
I haven't decided on Nico Collins either. He could be great again.
Yeah.
But definitely above Drake London, Malik Neighbors, AJ
I think-
Brown.
In terms of George Pickens, I would expect more of the same. I know he's getting downgraded from wide receiver 1 to wide receiver 2, but I think the offense that he's in is improving. I mean, I like Dak more than I like Russ. So, I think for him, I would expect similar, maybe slight decrease, but
George
pretty
Pickens.
similar.
George Pickens or this is redraft. George Pickens or Jacoby Myers.
I mean, I'm taking Pickens. I don't even think that's really close.
Pickens or Odunze.
I'm still taking Pickens. Yeah.
Pickens or Hunter. That's right back to back on
Travis Hunter.
fantasy pros.
Still picking.
I don't know, bro. Travis Hunter's so hard
But
to
you guys think
predict.
they're both. I don't. Yeah, I would take Pickens of that.
I'm not big. I'm big on Travis Hunter as an NFL player. Like I think he'll be really good. But
Yeah.
fantasy first year, no.
Pickens or
I'm
McMillan.
Pickens or who?
McMillan. Tedrow McMillan.
I just think
Oh.
McMillan might have so much
Yeah,
volume,
Ted.
bro. Like
That's it.
the volume's gonna be crazy year 1.
I think I might be a little lower on Pickens. Maybe just a little because I don't think that offense is going to be good this year. I really
Really?
don't. Even
I
with
kinda
adding
disagree.
Pickens, I know you'd say, well, that would make them better.
It-
They don't have a running back.
Right,
Jalen
so that
Wood's
means
gonna be their
more-
running back.
more.
No, okay, well,
Throwing.
I'm saying, okay, well, CeeDee Lamb's going to be the throwing target.
Well,
CeeDee
yeah.
Lamb's way is better than George Pickens.
No, I don't think anybody in the.
But I don't think they added Tyler Booker. That's more of a run thing. I don't think. I'm trying to think about versus Pittsburgh last year. What was Pittsburgh last year? They had. I don't know.
Him. And that was. I mean,
But
they had
where
Najee and.
Where did George Pickens finish last year's wide receiver? Do we know about where?
I don't know.
I
You
just-
have a
I don't-
phone right in front of you. So.
I know. I don't know. I haven't decided. I mean, I say lower. I don't even know. I mean, lower is like what wide receiver 30 is where he's at right now. But I haven't decided. But I'd have him above Hunter, he's behind right now.
I would have him slightly higher than wide. I mean, I don't know. I'm not looking at it, but I think I would have him a little bit higher than wide receiver 30.
I feel like in a lot of leagues, George Pickens will go either like way too high just because of name recognition,
Yeah.
or he'll go way too low because people are just underestimating that he'll actually get targets and
Right.
he'll be good in fantasy.
What about Jameson Williams?
Jama.
Oh, Jameson Williams or George Pickens.
Jameis just still in Detroit, right? Nothing.
Jameis still in Detroit and Detroit.
Jamo last year.
I mean, besides
So-
Ben Johnson,
Jameis is like a 28 or like a 4 kind of guy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that I don't really want to have Jameson Williams because it's like you're either gonna start him and he's gonna suck, and then you're gonna bench him and then he's gonna go off, and then you're gonna start. I don't like
Yeah.
playing those games in fantasy, and I also
Right.
don't like
Yeah.
having two players who I can't decide who to start.
And
I just
Jo-
like to have my lineup, and you can't. The problem is Jameson Williams is a great receiver, and he's adds a very valuable piece to the Detroit in real life. But in fantasy football, he's gonna either have big weeks or down weeks, and
I feel like Pickens will just be consistent next year. I
Yeah,
don't know.
definitely.
I'm feeling
I would
it.
take Pickens. I think.
when you look at the end of the season, how many fantasy points Jameson put up, he's gonna rank somewhere. But the way he did it is
Right. I'm
so
with you.
crazy.
I would rather a guy that gets you a consistent, like if I would rather say they both average 14, but one guy is like standard deviation is way way higher than somebody who's just like super consistent.
Bro, standard deviation.
She's watching the podcast. Yeah, sure.
I think I would go with the consistent guy over the guy whose numbers fluctuate way more.
Some big words for that. No, last question, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, no, I got a question. I got a question,
okay.
too. No.
You want me to go?
No, I'll just go Jalen Waddle, but keep it short.
Jalen Waddle.
Like, what do we think about
I'm
him?
gonna see where he's going.
I think Tyreek Hill is the guy that's getting slept on. Like, what?
Yeah,
Tyreek
Tyreek
Hill.
Huh?
Tyreek Hill.
There's a lot of.
I mean, he went
value.
third.
Okay, tell me this: Tyreek Hill or Lad McConkey? Why is Lad McConkey wide receiver 12? I just.
What Tyreek? Who's Tyreek behind? He's 11.
Lad McConkey. No, he's 14.
Oh,
on draft.
No,
on draft.
give me Tyreek over Lad. I don't care.
Are we forgetting
Lad
Tyreek?
Lad McConkey had a great end of the season. Okay, who did they add? They added Armani Hampton. They added what's his name? Trey Harris. Not gonna do much, I don't think.
Where did Harold Fannin end up?
He ended up on the Browns.
Okay. That sucks. He's gonna be behind Njoku.
That's not a bad thing though. He's kind of like Njoku.
Yeah, that is true.
And Njoku's old. You know, he's gonna fade out. He's throwing back. And tight end, like I said, it takes a long time to learn. So unless you're Brock Bowers. But Emerson Laporte. I think. I mean, I'm not gonna get into that actually. But who are we talking about? Lad McConkey.
Yeah. Actually, this whole thing started with Jalen Waddle. So.
Jalen Waddle. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Jalen Waddle.
I just don't know how to feel about Jalen Waddle like every single year.
He was like
I don't
in the
last
second,
Jalen
third round
Waddle.
last year.
Jalen Waddle. The way that, I mean, this is just facts. Tua had his concussion, missed the week. You know, the big scare, and he came back, and they completely changed the offense. Where he's getting the ball. Usually, Tua is a guy who. Tua is a really good quarterback. He can get the ball downfield. He can make the reads. He can make the throws. That's what he did. That's why Tyreek Hill's so good downfield threat. Jalen Waddle's kind of just like him in the slot. But then when he comes back, they're worried about, they don't have a good offensive line in Miami. They're worried about him getting hit. So they're getting the ball out quicker. That's why Jonnu Smith was so good last year. They were throwing it underneath the entire time. I'm pretty sure Tua was top 5 in checkdown rate last year. And he's nowhere near that usually when he's healthy. Because they just want to get the ball out quick. They changed the entire offense. That hurts guys like Tyreek Hill, who aren't checkdown machines. Jalen Waddle, who aren't checkdown machines. The big question is, are they going to go back to the old Miami offense? I don't think there's any way it's what it used to be. And Tyreek Hill, what are you going to say?
It could be close though.
I think
I'm
it could
with
be
you.
close.
I think they go back for sure, and that's
I
why
think they
I'm
try to go back. It just it won't be as good. But Tyreek Hill will still get
You're
volume.
paying to a $55 million a year. You're going to use him in the best way possible.
Right.
He's going to be safe. I mean,
he's not a check down quarterback.
he's not a checkdown quarterback. They didn't want to play Tyler Huntley all year,
Right.
and
The Pro Bowler.
The Pro Bowler.
but that also really helped Devon Achane because he's a running back check down. So
Yeah.
Right.
how will that affect him? I still think Devon Achane's gonna be really good. That's not something I'm worried about. But Jonnu Smith is, I don't know if he's gonna go back to just being tight end in a very vertical offense, but I think it will revert back. I think Jalen Waddle would be better than he was last year. I think Tyreek Hill will be better than he was last year, but up to the same standard, probably not.
All right.
I want to hear y'all's thoughts about the Packers wide receiver core.
It's there's like
I kind of gave it.
there's like 5 wide receivers in there.
Romeo Dobbs,
all around the
Matthew Golden, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, and
Dontavion
Wicks.
Wicks.
They're like the same. It's
They're
like
all-
you take
I mean,
5
TCU.
carbon copy. I don't.
6'5", 225.
6'5", 220.
Who?
Then they get another wide receiver. I remember I talked to him about him. I can't remember his name though.
Oh, Savion Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not part of. He's not a part of the 5.
My fault.
Well, no. It's just, I mean, a lot of people would put him in there. I don't. He drops.
Where was he from?
TCU.
Okay. So the wide receiver 2 from TCU.
He's not nearly as good as Jack Dorsey.
Okay. I kind of gave a take on this when I was doing the first round video that we put out earlier.
We'll see what
And I said Matthew Golden is the most skilled wide receiver in that room, which I think he is. I mean,
Jack did not have a good reaction to that.
No, that was a happy reaction.
Okay.
I couldn't tell.
Jaden Reed's going wide receiver 47, and he's the first one out of that entire receiver. So everyone else has the same reaction.
Right.
Avoiding him.
My kind of take was I think I think you give Matthew Golden like a couple years, he'll pull away as the clear-cut wide receiver one.
I just feel like with sorry.
But so I mean, if you're gonna draft or redraft, I think if my first choice would be Matthew Golden, and here's why. As EA just said, the first one's going at wide receiver 47. Like you're not taking him to be a starter. So my kind of motto when drafting has always been you want to look for consistency at the top, and you want to look for upside in the later part of the draft.
Yeah.
So that way you know you're gonna get some good starters, and if you can take some swings in the back part of your draft. Some are gonna miss, but if some hit, then you're in a really good position here.
Like last year, I drafted Xavier Worthy and Curtis Samuel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I do agree he's most upside. He also has first-round draft capital.
Right.
They're going to want to use him. Even if that's not year one, I think it will be year one. He's in a great offense. And I think if someone told you that one of those receivers ended up being really good this year, really productive, a lot of usage, you would think it would be Matthew Golden.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where I was kind of going. Like, I think he just has the most breakout potential. So, none of them are going high anyways. Why not take a chance on? I think the most skilled, the highest upside, most electric. I mean,
can I ask you something, Austin?
Yeah.
Matthew Golden or Darnell Mooney? That's like your later round receiver.
I would go Mooney, just because I think he's a guy that has. I think he brings consistency, and I think he brings upside that not a lot of people are talking about. I think he could be really good.
It's close, man. I don't know.
I'd probably say Mooney. Also because I think he's.
Last question. I thought of one real quick here. DK Metcalf. Just the same on the Steelers though. Like what?
Yeah, well,
there's no JSN.
Well, no one. They don't have a quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Maybe.
What's his name? Mason Rudolph.
No, they're but Aaron Rodgers is
They're
like
going to sign Aaron Rodgers someday.
Right.
Someday.
Maybe like 2028.
Right.
When he's like 47.
When you're like hosting a podcast or something.
No, it's. At this point, in August, we're gonna know who the quarterback is. So it's not like it is now. If it is Mason Rudolph, I think he's in the 20s for wide receivers, right around. Trying to think of some other guys who are in there.
So that would be worse than last year or better?
Well, last year wasn't good at all. He missed a lot of time for injury.
I know, but just like
overshadowed by JSN.
Where was he going into?
He was definitely higher than 20s.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He was. I don't think, even if they sign Aaron Rodgers, which is like best case scenario for him, in your lineup in a 12-team league, he's never going to be a wide receiver 1, right? He's never going to be a top 12 receiver. Wide receiver 2, yeah, he could be, and probably will be drafted in the 13 to 24 range. 15 to 20 probably. I don't know. That's probably where I'd put him if they signed Aaron Rodgers. If not, a little bit lower. But who's competing for targets in that round? I'm trying to think.
I generally.
What's his name? Van Jefferson is.
Van Jefferson.
But they didn't. They didn't draft a receiver like I thought they would, and they traded away George Pickens. So.
Van Jefferson's fine.
What?
Van Jefferson's fine.
But I know, but he's a slot wide receiver too.
Right.
So he's gonna get.
No, DK's gonna get a lot of volume.
But
he should get more volume than last season, which I think.
Yeah.
But he's not.
But a huge downgrade quarterback.
And I think just offensive system, it's a downgrade as well. Last season.
Arthur Smith.
Last season, that's a run heavy guy right there, Arthur Smith. But last season,
they drafted Caleb Johnson in the second round at running back. So they're gonna have Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson in the backfield. It could just be a big run heavy offense.
And last year the Seahawks brought in that guy from Washington that liked to throw the ball a lot. You know what I'm talking about? They brought in
throw the ball on a quarterback.
No. The offensive coordinator. From Washington, like the college football.
Grubb.
Yeah, they brought in that guy, and
I thought you were talking about
Wood. I'm so glad it's in
he likes to throw a ball a lot. So I think that helped DK out a lot.
Let's move on before we
Speaking
get.
about.
No. What are you
I
gonna
was
say?
just saying, speaking about Seahawks, what do we think about JSN and Cooper Kupp?
I just forgot Cooper Kupp was on the Seahawks.
I forgot Cooper Kupp existed.
I have no idea. I think.
Cooper Kupp. Where's he going? Because if he's going later, he's definitely one of my sleepers. Yeah, always.
My problem with. I'm gonna find it.
Seahawks, bro. I don't
I'm
know
also-
how I feel about the Seahawks
all
ever.
of our preseason thoughts here, and then
Cooper Kupp.
later down the season we'll be like
Wide receiver
Come back.
45. I want to go ahead
Who?
and say something. Wide receiver 45.
No,
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Cup?
45.
I have
He's definitely one of my guys.
Yeah.
a big problem with Josh Downs, mainly for dynasty, but he's behind him, which is unreal. It's the same kind of thing with where's JSN?
He's behind Josh Downs.
Wow.
JSN is
my
wide receiver. Okay, JSN or Lad McConkey?
I would go Lad. Yeah.
Okay, they're right there. I don't know about JSN. I don't think he's a guy I would draft.
I like JSN.
How much do you believe in Sam Darnold? In a new system without Kevin O'Connell, who's like the quarterback.
Yeah, but
Whisperer.
look at Jefferson and Addison. Like, I know they're better receivers.
Yeah, look at Jefferson. I could
Look
throw
at
the ball
Justin Jefferson.
All right, but nobody thought Sam Darnold was gonna do anything good there, and he did.
But
So
I think a lot of that has to do with
It's-
Kevin O'Connell's
And
system.
it's the Vikings.
It's the Vikings. That's what he does.
I mean, I still
Sam
got a little bit of
Darnold's-
faith in Sam Darnold.
I don't
He's gonna
think
be
Sam Darnold. I mean,
I don't think he's going to be as good as
No,
No,
I don't think so
this
either.
year, obviously. But
and I think a lot of it also had to do with who he was throwing to. That helps
Right.
help him throw it to one of the best receiver rooms in the nation. Let's see, wide receiver 13 though. It's
I mean, I was high on JSN coming out of college. He was the best player on that team that had Olave and
Marvin Harrison. Wasn't he on there?
Garrett Wilson, I thought.
They had center receiver.
I think it was like him. Harrison was probably on the team, but he was probably like a freshman. But he was the best. I thought that Smith and Jigba was better than
Yeah,
Wilson and Olave when they were at.
top 20 pick. He was
Yeah.
Very.
I mean, I still believe a lot in him and
Yeah.
what he can do. All right, so after 20 minutes of saying we're gonna move on, we're finally moving on to Dynasty here.
We did it.
All right, dynasty.
Dynasty.
Okay. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on the first round top 6 picks. You know, I think is it 5 quarterbacks and Jamar Chase?
I
Is
think
that
it
what
depends
is?
on the format.
Okay, our format: Superflex, Dynasty, Starter Draft. Is it 5 quarterbacks and Jamar Chase? Is that just known at this point? Do you throw anybody else in there?
Why Josh Allen?
I mean, what's the? I don't know what.
I
What's
also
the
the five
ADP?
order
The
of
5
quarterbacks.
What's the ADP? Do you know? I mean,
Look at fuck
The five
fantasy.
the 5 QBs, right? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels,
Joe Burrow,
Joe Burrow,
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. That makes sense.
Wait, y'all are Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts?
I'm Jalen
and
Hurts.
Joe Burrow.
I'm
I
Jalen
think
Hurts.
most people are Jalen Hurts.
I'm Jalen Hurts at 4.
My thing with Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow just
Joe Burrow is in.
He just-
First of all, let's go. He's throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who is the best wide receiver duo in the NFL.
Is it still Zach
Yes.
Moss and
Chase Brown, yeah.
Chase Young.
they got
He
a
is
good
in the
offense.
biggest pass-heavy
Okay.
offense.
Ooh.
The biggest pass-heavy offense in the league, and it's not even close if you look at the ground.
No.
And he's an incredible talent. I'd say he's probably the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. You have the top 3, and then it's Joe Burrow. And his game is gonna last longer than any other quarterback we're talking about. A pocket passer. Matthew Stafford is 38 years old and is still dominating as a pocket passer in a good system that passes a lot. It's the same kind of deal. And I think Joe Burrow is up to the level of Matthew Stafford. He has had some injury concerns, but I believe in it. And they're building the offensive line. It's trending in the right direction. That's why I take it. Also, how big does the tush push ban if that happens?
It didn't happen.
I know,
Yeah,
but what if
but
it happens all the it's they like redo the meeting every single week, every single month.
As a Packers fan, I do not condone that from the Packers.
Yeah.
I don't want any involvement with that.
But I'd take him over Jalen. I know Jalen Hurts is younger, 26 years old, but I think his game is going to age worse. I don't think he's as good as Joe Burrow. That's just, and I think he's at the peak of the Eagles in his right for fantasy points, and it only get worse.
I mean, here's a counter argument. I haven't done a lot of research, but I'll say this: Jalen Hurts. You brought up the Bengals wide receivers, which I think are slightly better than the Eagles, but the Eagles still have, one of the
Yeah.
top
Yeah,
wide receiver duos, and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts has more rushing upside, and I get what you're saying about the longevity of Joe Burrow, but he's already older.
28.
He's already
2 years
older than Jalen Hurts, and I just think that like
I thought you were. Never mind.
I think Jalen Hurts like I get Joe Burrow's style of play can last longer, but like, how long are you really going to need Jalen Hurts before you can just draft another QB? Like, that's kind of my thing. Like, I would rather go out with the 5 better years and just draft somebody else, or like get a progression.
Well, I don't know. I think Joe Burrow might be better in the next 5 years than Jalen Hurts too. I think he's on. Well, we're talking about fantasy here.
Right.
The Bengals. I talked about this earlier with Jamar Chase. They have invested like over half of their draft capital, or over half of their salary cap, into Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. They have shown that the way they want to build this team is around those 3 guys and passing the ball way more than any other NFL team. So if the staff stays, if the Bengals don't suck, which I don't think they will because those are all really good players, then that trend is going to continue. They're going to have that sustained just volume for some of the best players in the NFL for years. And I'm not worried about any of Jamar Chase is young. T. Higgins is young. Joe Burrow, he's not young, but he's not old. And his style of play is going to last. I think it's just trending right there. That's just my thing. Jalen Hurts, he's throwing to great players, and he has the rushing upside. I just rather have Joe Burrow. But I'd rather have Jane Daniels. I'd rather have Lamar Jackson. It's not like Joe Burrow is my end-all, be-all. For value, probably Joe Burrow, though. My question that I really want to ask is, where does Jamar Chase fit? Is he last? You're drafting 6th. Is that?
Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to draft. I'll make my decision like a week before the draft.
I mean, with 6 in ours, it's a snake. So you'll have back to back.
I get the 106 and the 201.
Right. So I mean, you could take a quarterback at the 201 and it'd practically be the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But a nasty receiver core. He is.
Could go.
Well, yeah. What if I just go Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson?
On Flock, he has Justin Jefferson at the 6 and Joe Burrow at the 7. So same thing, but for the team picking. But
wait, who they have at the 5 then?
They have, I think Jalen Hurts at the 5 and Jamar Chase at the 4.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't know. What if does Jamar Chase get picked before Jackson picks? Because here it would say who would draft him.
I mean,
I'm right in front of Jackson, and I'm taking
a quarterback.
There, I'm taking Jalen Hurts.
So, but if you have,
if Jalen Hurts gets picked before my pick, I'm probably gonna get Chase. So.
Over Burrow. Okay,
that makes sense.
I'm taking Josh Allen if I stay at 1. So.
Gibbs or Bijan?
I forgot we can trade.
Oh, Gibbs, easy.
Gibbs or who?
For me.
I would take
Gibbs
Bijan.
or
I would
Bijan?
take Bijan.
I don't know why it's easy for me, but just in my brain, Gibbs every single time.
That's rough.
They're so good.
Wait, I have a question. Are we just thinking that Gibbs and Bijan are just gonna progress so much more than Saquon?
Saquon's 28.
Well, they're like 5 years younger.
I mean,
Dude,
Saquon
is
is one of those guys where it completely depends on the team you're building. If you're a win-now team, he's. I mean, no one's gonna take over Gibbs and Bijan, but behind Gibbs and Bijan, Ashton Jeter or Saquon next year, Saquon. So he could be as high as running back 3 for depending on the team. Or if you're not, if you're a rebuilding team, you don't want Saquon. You're gonna dump him easily. Rebuilding Saquon or Achane, you're gonna take Achane every day of the week because you're rebuilding what the talent you want, the longevity. And wouldn't you agree with that? Would you say that? If you're rebuilding, your team sucks.
Yeah, but like
young talent to build for 3 years.
Yeah. Here's my counter argument. Who's going into a startup draft like I'm rebuilding?
No. I'm saying not for startup draft, for just dynasty in general.
Yeah.
You're a bad team. You're taking that trade. I've heard Flock Fantasy says if you have Christian McCaffrey, you're dumping Christian McCaffrey for RJ Harvey on the Denver Broncos.
Score up here real quick. OKC's up 65 to 32 and a half.
Oh my!
Okay,
so 6, right?
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. No. Give me Wolves in 7, actually.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
He's cinema.
All right. What was we talking about? Oh yeah, dump it. Yeah, it completely depends. So for a startup, if you're just saying startup, you can still kind of build. Like if you want to have a young team, you can still kind of do that startup draft. But I'd probably would you say Jinty or Saquon? Startup.
I would go Jinty.
I think I still might draft Saquon. I don't know.
Jinty or Saquon for dynasty startup
Dynasty.
So, like, if I was going into the draft, what about to do?
And I mean, this is gonna be crazy, y'all. It's just personal opinion. Hampton's there for me too. I'd take Hampton over Ginty, just because I think.
I mean, I like Hampton.
I think
Where is he? Where's he?
Not at Virginia.
He's in the perfect spot to develop.
Okay.
Yes, he is for Dynasty especially, and for this. I think he's underrated for redraft. But for Dynasty, Najee Harris isn't gonna compete with Hampton. Hampton, it's especially whether they draft him first round draft capital. It's gonna be Hampton. J.K. Dobbins, he's already getting older. He's very injury prone. Very injury prone.
Did they resign him?
What about my boy Gus
They
Edwards?
haven't resigned. If they do resign, I'm saying, and Gus Edwards.
Gus Edwards.
He's gonna be behind a top 5 offensive line in the league. Jim Harbaugh is his coach, who is the biggest, like, smash mouth player where you run the ball all the time, and he is such a translatable back. Receiving volume is there. He hasn't shown any injuries at UNC that you'd be worried about. Justin Herbert's presumably going to stay there, which is a franchise quarterback he has on the team. Offense looks like it's trending in the right direction. We'll see. But for himself, running behind that offensive line in that kind of offensive scheme, I'm more excited about than JT because I already think he's a better running back.
All right. Well, anything else that we want to?
Kind of two questions like go together here.
Okay.
What are y'all's thoughts about just like the rookie quarterbacks coming in, like all of them, and then
all of them.
Piggyback of the question, who do we think is going to come out in Cleveland as the starting quarterback?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
For the rookies, Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Are we talking Dynasty?
Yeah.
Or just as okay.
Dynasty segment.
There's something that I saw is like Cam Ward and Will Levis are gonna.
I don't know where he's.
Like what? Like they're not gonna
It'd be easy
equal.
for me. I'm gonna compare Cam Ward. Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing.
First overall.
I mean, obviously, I got it from Bleacher Report. The worst app. Used to
Anyway.
be so good.
Cam Ward. I
Biggest fall off in modern sports history.
Oh, it's so bad. It makes me sad to think about. But
No, it's so sad to think about. Me and EA in our primes were
Dude,
just.
miss it.
We were
Miss it so
on
much.
Bleacher Report for like unhealthy amounts of time.
But back to the thing I was saying. It's easy for me to compare him to other young quarterbacks because I don't know about dynasty value for some of the middle age. If I'm comparing him to like Bryce Young, I'm taking Bryce Young. They're the same age. I think Bryce Young is in the better situation. Bryce Young's easily the better quarterback. Bryce Young has more dual threat upside. Bryce Young's easy pick. Caesar Stroud, easy pick. The top guys, Jane Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, easy pick. Then Michael Penix or Cam Ward. I'll take Cam Ward because Michael Penix is a lot older. He's going to be 26 years old next year. Doesn't have any real dual threat upside. Neither does Cam Ward. But
it's just insane. 26 next year is crazy.
Neither one really does. Better situation, easily Michael Penix. I know you say don't predict injuries. I think he's so injury prone. He was like 6 years in college because he medical redshirted twice. I think he's gonna get injured, and I don't think he's. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Cam Ward because not necessarily he's a better quarterback. I think they're both good in their own right, but I just believe Cam Ward can play longer and can play at a high level longer than Michael Penix can. Also, because Michael Penix is already in his prime for a quarterback. He has his play. Jason McCarthy, I'd probably take Cam Ward, but who knows about that one. Trying to think of some other young quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson where's he gone? Falling off the table. He's such a wild card, but I'm taking Cam Ward.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson might be one of the biggest wild cards because next year he could get so much worse that it's just like a steady decline, or he could actually like come back next year.
I will
like,
say this: Bo Nix. I'm taking Bo Nix over Cam Ward. Very much. I think he's better than Michael Penix. I think no real injury concerns. He's a little bit younger, not that much. Sean Payton. I have a lot of faith in Sean Payton and what he can do there. They're building the offense around him. It's like maybe the best offensive line in the NFL. Marvin Mims really came out at the end of the season. Courtland Sutton's still underrated. I'm not saying these are top guys or not, but if I'm taking Bo Nix, I'm taking Bo Nix over Cam Ward. I'm not taking Bo Nix over Bryce Young. No, I'm taking Bryce Young over Bo Nix. That's probably where I draw the line.
Here's what I'll say. I think Cam Ward is, out of this class, wide receiver 1 for both Dynasty and Redraft. In terms of Dynasty, I would probably go Jackson Dart 2.
I forgot about Jackson Dart. I take
for dynasty.
And
Yeah.
But for redraft, I don't think Jackson Dart's
I
at the two.
think Russell Wilson is like people. I'd say Jackson Dart's going to start immediately. I think
That-
Russell Wilson has a really. If I had to pick one right now, I'd pick Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I don't think Dart will start immediately. That's why I wouldn't have him. Like, in terms of redraft, Cam Ward is the only guy that I want a share of in terms of in terms of redraft, just because like the other guys, like Dart might not start initially. Cleveland, as Jack was saying, I have no idea. So in terms of redraft, yeah. And then for dynasty, I'm a little higher on Cam Ward just because I think he is a natural playmaker. I mean, you know, I know the concerns about, you know, Will Levis and how they're similar quarterbacks, both in that Tennessee system, but I think Cam Ward is just miles better than Will Levis. But as Jack, you know, asked about Cleveland, could not tell you. I mean, yeah, I have no idea. I mean, who I think is the most talented? I think it's Shador. Who even? I know it's Flacco and the two rookies. Who else is in the room? Deshaun Watson. No. We need to get him out the league immediately.
Yeah, get him out. Get him off. Yeah, he doesn't need to get a paycheck.
Kenny Pickett, low-key sleeper, but I don't know.
Most talented. Well, I mean,
Give me Joe Flacco starting week 1.
I think that's
I
probably
kinda
most likely.
I kind of hope Shador goes out there just like and dominates.
Yeah, that would be kind of hype.
I think Shador is more talented.
This is such a terrible QB room.
Yes. If I had to pick one to start week 1, Joe Flacco. Best might be Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco's
That's
just
start.
Yeah.
Most talented
the look to the camera
right now. He's definitely more talented than Dylan.
Oh, nice, Dylan Gabriel. No picture.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, let's see.
I have like a line of questions just right here, and it's
I
just
have
gone.
a redraft question for later, so we're gonna put that on hold.
Okay. We want to move off from dynasty and into the next.
No.
one.
I mean, I have a lot. We're about to redraft guys in like a couple weeks, right?
Not redraft, dynasty.
Oh, sorry, dynasty. That's what I meant to say. I say we keep talking about dynasty.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think about some guys down the board.
The thinking
Okay,
process.
so
Is for the Colts offense, is it still Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, and then
No, I think it's Tyler Warren.
No, here's okay. Yeah, Tyler.
I think it's
Josh
Tyler Warren.
Downs. This is something I did want to say about Josh Downs.
who's their running back?
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
Where's he
One of the most overrated for dynasty picks. Not as a wide receiver. Josh Downs. The ceiling for Josh Downs as a player is a really good slot wide receiver. He'll never be a wide receiver 1. I think if I'm picking Josh Downs or Adonai Mitchell, which people just forgot about Adonai Mitchell, who's really good and has wide receiver 1 potential on the outside, I'm picking Adonai Mitchell over Josh Downs for dynasty. Adonai Mitchell's younger. If you're drafting, like Austin said earlier, for picking later in redraft, like later rounds in redraft, you're drafting for upside when you're later rounds of dynasty and kind of your stashes in dynasty. The ceiling for Adonai Mitchell is so much higher than for Josh Downs. It's unbelievable. He's really good wide receiver. Got overshadowed like everyone did in the Colts offense besides Jonathan Taylor last year by horrible QB play, and that won't change. But in 3 years, hopefully the Colts can figure out a quarterback. Michael Pittman's going to be older. Josh Downs is still going to be a slot wide receiver. I think Adonai Mitchell, if he develops right, could be so good compared to Josh Downs. Not even close for me.
All right. Well, we want to move into dynasty tight ends.
Sure. I mean, Brock Bowers is.
Brock Bowers?
Brock Bowers.
Bowers.
Right. You know.
So is Laporta at the 3?
I don't even. I will let.
Brock Bowers. Who's second?
Trey McBride. I think that's tier
McBride.
though.
Laporta's just
I would
confusing
think
me
so.
after the
I
last year.
have something to say about Brock Bowers. I worry about him. People like I was talking about, I just made the video about Brock Bowers. You know, better quarterback, better leadership, and better coaching, new offensive weapons. I think it's kind of overlooked the fact that this change can make him less productive and less volume. The fact that Geno Smith doesn't throw to tight ends as much as Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell did in their careers, and Geno Smith did. He's never supported a top tight end. Like, you know, Noah Fant was the closest thing, but never close to Brock Bowers. And I think specifically, Ashton Jeanty a lot of things with Brock Bowers and any tight end in the league is short yardage stuff, short yardage situations. Brock Bowers not as much. He was good all around. But I think Ashton Jeanty is going to take up a lot of those touches in the short yard areas that weren't taken up by anybody in the backfield last year by the Raiders. I think that's going to hurt his just the little stuff a lot. And the downfield stuff, I have my stuff for Jack Besh. But specifically, the short touches, I think they're going to go to Ashton Jeanty instead of Brock Bowers and the Geno Smith, who knows. And you like Sam Laporta, tight end 1 his rookie year. I'm not saying Sam Laporta is as good as Brock Bowers, but he had a really good rookie year. He was tight end 1. And then I think he was tight end 8 last year for no reason. There was no signs pointing to Sam Laporta being less productive or having less volume, right? I mean, there were none. So I think rookie tight ends, when they shoot, shooting stars, they die out and they come back. I'm saying that would be a tight end. I'm saying not shooting stars, but they burn quickly. And it's a long time to learn that position. I just worry their stuff won't work all in Brock Bowers' favor. It won't just make an elite tight end even more elite. Just for next year, for long term, I mean, he's Brock Bowers. He's one of the best tight end prospects. Another one of his examples could have been Kyle Pitts. He was fantastic his rookie season. I still draft him like he's gonna be great. I don't know. But
Kyle Pitts.
So I mean, you would have to think that it would be those 3: Bowers, McBride, Laporta at the top.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me check what
Score update.
Yeah, that's what it is.
OKC up 73-38.
Nice.
Comeback.
Nice. Comeback. No.
So
yeah,
Wolves in 7.
Wolves in 7.
But I definitely like Trey McBride more than.
Give me Wolves in 9.
Wolves in 9.
Wolves in 9.
Wolves in 11.
Yeah.
Who y'all have? Tyler Ward and Colson Loveland.
I'm a Tyler.
Where's
Ward
Colson
guy.
Loveland at?
Bears. Bears.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. This fantasy season is gonna be stacked.
I'm taking Tyler Ward. It was my favorite fit for the draft. I didn't think he'd last till 14. I thought he was going to start, but he's better than that. And he goes to the Colts. Even the terrible QB, he's better than Colson Loveland.
Thoughts on Mark Andrews?
For Dynasty or just redraft? Because Dynasty,
just,
I mean, he's got to be old.
Yeah.
But redraft,
Everybody.
I mean, he had a mini comeback in the second half of the season.
Bro, y'all don't even know about the touchdown per week that Mark Andrews was getting me on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's obviously going to look at him dropping the pass and ruining the Ravens' chances for anything last year's postseason. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I kind of like him as a sleeper. If he's
Are we
going
talking
later.
about redraft now?
Yeah.
That's my redraft question.
Yeah, I mean,
what were you saying?
I was just saying, he's not going early at all for tight ends
Mark
because
Andrews? I'll just check where he's going.
I mean,
I'm curious.
he'll probably go tight end, like 5, 6. I don't even know the tight end rankings. Haven't been studying
No,
on
he'll
that.
go later than that.
For a redraft?
He'll go I'm calling tight end 11.
Tight end 11 sounds right. Yeah.
For a redraft?
Yeah.
Maybe tight end 9.
8.
Okay.
8.
He's behind.
Yes.
Okay, Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce?
I think I'm
The
going.
battle of old.
Who are the wide receivers?
I think I'm going Mark Andrews.
In 2020, this would have been so crazy. In 2020, Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown.
Because Marquise Brown in the playoffs was kind of tough. No, really. I mean, he had a lot of volume.
I just said I would probably go Mark Andrews.
No, I know, but it's Marquise Brown specifically as a player and as a fantasy prospect. But
Give me Rasheed Rice still.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know about Rasheed. I've been thinking more about Rasheed Rice and looking at stuff. I think Xavier Worthy kind of took over the end of last year. He's better talent than Rasheed Rice.
All right. Yeah, no, keep going.
But that's back to what else. My question was going to be about the kind of mid-tier running backs in redraft. About Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, and Kenneth Walker. Like, how would you
Redraft.
redraft?
I think Alvin Kamara 1, Breece Hall 2.
I'd probably
Breece,
say
Kamara,
Alvin.
and Walker.
Yep.
I don't think I have a problem with Breece.
Wait, redraft, right?
Redraft.
Mine's the same. Breece, Kamara.
For redraft, next season, Breece Hall. First of all, the Jets did not run the ball much last year. And you might say, there was no reason they shouldn't have run the ball. Breece Hall was healthy in there, and they had bad quarterback play. There's no reason to not run the football. It might say coaching and leadership. I don't. If they really believe in Breece Hall, they would have run the football more. And they added Justin Fields, who is a running quarterback, to the offense. They added more passing offensive line help in Armand Membu in the draft. I think that versus Alvin Kamara, I'm taking Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, I know someone said that also, but the Saints offense is dead this year. Besides Alvin Kamara, because they're going to run the football, they're going to have the check down rates. I think Alvin Kamara could be slept on this year in draft. And Kenneth Walker, they added a lot to the Seahawks offense in the offseason. They drafted Gray Zabel and signed a couple other guys. Depending on how good the Seahawks offense might be better than last year too. But running, I think a lot of Kenneth Walker's struggles have been because of how bad that offensive line has been. It's been so bad in Seattle.
It's just Charbonnet. I can't get over the fact that I don't know.
Maybe Charbonnet is a downside of Kenneth Walker, but the downsides of Breece Hall are more glaring to me than the downside of having another talented running back in the room. And I think Kenneth Walker is better right now than Jack Charbonnet is.
I just think that Breece Hall is just so much better as a running back. They
didn't use him. They're not utilized, and they added a guy who's going to steal ground touches in Justin Fields. Justin Fields had a lot of rushing volume in Chicago.
Right, but that means that. You got to think with Fields, they're going to run it more than they're going to.
I know, but I think the running that's going to be added is going to be Justin Fields. Yeah. They didn't run the ball with Breece Hall last year very much at all. They were
right, but you got to think
in rushing.
Devontae Adams is gone now too, so that's less targets there.
Yeah, but that's not.
Who are the wide receivers?
Garrett Wilson,
no one else.
What's that guy's name? Mike. Guy that used to be on the Chargers.
Mike Williams.
And but no, it's a bad offense. First of all, it's a worse offense. I would like that to be pointed out. Worse off. It could be a better offense, but I think most people would say if they're picking right now, see it's a better offense. But they didn't use Breece Hall last year, when it would be the perfect time to use Breece Hall when you can't pass the football. I think Justin Fields. I think everyone agrees Justin Fields is better than Aaron Rodgers last year, right? They're going to have more reasons to pass the football, and when they add to the rushing game, it's going to be because Justin Fields is a dual threat quarterback, and he's going to steal those carries. You might say they added the offensive lineman Armand Membu. Armand Membu is a left tackle. He's a pass protector. That's not going to help Breece Hall in the run game. And Breece Hall's a great running back, and he has receiving volume, but so does Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
I would take Kenneth Walker right now.
So you would have.
So you have Breece Hall last.
Out of those three, yes.
Okay, I just don't see.
I have the reason.
Kamara's one.
I just think Breece is in for a nice bounce back year.
But I don't see why they didn't use him last year. What are the signs?
It's a new year.
They fired their head coach halfway through the season or whenever that was.
See that. That's the one thing I was thinking about.
Aaron Rodgers is gone. Devontae Adams is gone. That's reasons that you would pass the ball.
Justin Fields is better than Aaron Rodgers is now.
But I feel like with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, there's almost like an obligation to throw the ball.
Okay. Well, they also threw the ball at Breece Hall, but they didn't throw the ball at Breece Hall enough, and they also didn't run the ball at Breece Hall enough, and he wasn't efficient enough to be valid in fantasy. He's a great running back. I was going to say something I forgot about something you said about the offseason changes. I can't remember now, but
is Tyler Conklin still their tight end?
Yeah, they also drafted Mason Taylor at LSU in the second round. But he's not going to be a guy who's going to be year one contributor.
All right, one thing that I want to say, I think Isaiah Pacheco could be a big sleeper here. Are we going to forget, this guy was like a 2-3 turn?
They lost some of the offensive line pieces, though.
I still think he's going 6th round or something right now. And it's crazy. I just don't see it. If you're, who's the backup that was?
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. And they have is Clyde Edwards-Helaire still there?
Wow. Alvin Kamara's running back 22 on Flock Fantasy and Breece Hall's 14. I just don't agree with that.
Where's Pacheco at?
Pacheco?
Yeah.
33.
Where's Kenneth Walker?
So where's...
there's 32.
Kenneth Walker's 21.
So that has Pacheco, what are some of the players in Pacheco's range?
Oh wait, I might have had that wrong. No,
Okay.
Pacheco's 28. Sorry,
Okay.
I had the Titans in there for some reason. They were kind of thinking up, and that means Kenneth Walker's 18, Alvin Kamara's 19, and Brees Hall's 12.
So
What
what?
did I say?
So what? What are some of the players around?
Pacheco.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift,
I mean, I've been taking Pacheco just every
Brian
day.
Robinson,
Still taking Pacheco.
Tony Pollard,
Pacheco every day.
Caleb Johnson, and Aaron
Is
Jones.
Pollard
Pollard is in Tennessee.
I mean, I think he's better than every single guy you named. I mean, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he's so old. And
Aaron Jones.
Oh,
It's a guy that I
who's
think-
ruling out that Aaron Jones gets injured and Jordan Mason takes the backfield? Or Jordan Mason. I mean, I just don't know when Aaron Jones takes the dip. He's so old.
Yeah.
I feel like if he doesn't get injured, he
But that
might
could be
not
the same
as
thing
good
with,
as
like,
Jordan Mason.
Kamara. People think he's going to take a dip every year, and then he just never does.
Yeah, well, he's not as old as Aaron Jones.
That is true.
But
I just think.
also, he doesn't
people are
have. I mean,
disrespecting
Jordan Mason
Pacheco.
might be a valid backup this year. I mean, he was. Everyone seems to be good in San Francisco, but he was good. I mean, we can just say. I'll just say what I've seen. Who's the backup to Alvin Kamara? Is it Jamal Williams right now? No, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Is that who it is? Is he even a backup? I don't know.
Is Clyde Edwards-Helaire even still in the league? This is the bigger
But I'm
question.
saying, yeah, he was the first round pick.
They have what's that Keandre guy?
I was about to say Keandre Lambert Smith.
Isn't it like?
No, I know
running
who you're
back?
talking about.
I've heard of him. Yeah. But you get my point. It's a better running back. I mean, in my opinion, at least for the backup, it's better enough. And Ty Chandler's not bad.
Right.
But
But
Ty Chandler.
just Pacheco. I mean,